We are filming today from Studio 29, located at 29 East Princess Street in the city of York, Pennsylvania. A special thank you to Dommonick Chatman for making that happen. My guests today are York City Councilwoman Edquina Washington and Sandie Walker. Also today, I have two of the 5 sisters in the fairway. Sandra Harrison, running for York County Pathonetary, and attorney Sandra Thompson, running for Judge, Court of Common Pleas, York County. Stay tuned and remember, May 21st, rock the vote. Councilwoman Sandie Walker, a Democrat, was elected to the York City Council in November 2015 and sworn into office on January 4th, 2016. As Vice President of Council, Sandie serves as Chair of Public Works Committee and is a member of the Rules and Administrative Codes Committee of Council. Councilwoman Walker is seeking re-election for a 4-year term of York City Council. Councilwoman Walker, thank you for coming to my show and welcome to Black Perspectives with Lady T.
Well, thank you, Lady T, for having me.
You are welcome. So let's get right into it. You are no stranger to the political arena. Prior to being elected to the council, you served, was it 1 or 2 terms in York City School Board?
I actually served a term and a half.
A term and a half, okay.
I did my 4 years and then a member resigned and I fulfilled the remaining 2 years of their term.
Okay. Well, for those of you that don't know you, why don't you share a little bit of your background? You grew up here in the city of York, graduated from William Penn High School.
Yes.
And where did you go from there?
Graduated from William Penn Senior High School in 2001. And I went off to the University of Richmond on a full athletic scholarship.
And she was a beast, by the way.
Thank you. I played basketball at the University of Richmond. Full scholarship, graduated in 2005 with a double major in leadership studies and urban policy and have a minor in business administration. Always knew I wanted to come back to York, so after graduation, came back to York and got right involved in the community.
You certainly did. In fact, Pennsylvania State Representative Carol Hill Evans, as you ran for City Council, and who was formerly a City Council president,
yes,
described you as an independent thinker. Was that a fair assessment of you, and
absolutely.
why?
Growing up, just my family, my mother and father always taught me to think for myself. So throughout my terms on the school board, I always tried to be an independent thinker. You know, a lot of times you can get influenced by outside influences, you can get influenced by folks that you're serving with, and in the end of the day, you have to go to sleep with yourself at night and be comfortable with the decisions that you've made. So I always try to keep that in mind when I'm thinking about decisions or important things that come up, whether it be on council or everyday life.
Fantastic. Well, let's talk about your time that you served so far in the York City Council. Are there any legislations that you've passed or something that you're thinking about maybe coming down the pike? What can your voters expect for you in another 4 years? Okay.
During my first term, I didn't put forth any individual legislation. that never was something that I ran on. And even when I get elected, or if I'm lucky to get elected for another 4 years, if something pressing for legislation comes up that comes to my mind, I will definitely look forward to enforcing it or enacting upon it as a city council member. But some of the things that we've done since I've been on for these 3.5 years, going on 4 years, we've looked at improving the neighborhood improvement ordinance, trying to put some teeth to it in regards to being able to help our administration enforce citations, fines when folks are not taking care of our city like they should, from blighted property to dumping to trash, things of that sort. We've also looked at marijuana. That was a big issue going on throughout the nation and still is an issue. We tried to put through an ordinance, and we did, when it comes to decriminalizing marijuana. City council can only enact the ordinance. We can't enforce it. So you probably saw in the news when it came to marijuana that when they did the research, our police officers weren't necessarily enforcing what we passed when it came to just the citations and the fines. So our police officer, the department is actually working on training in regards to that, but that's something that we've done as city council, ban the box. A lot of folks who have had criminal records, when they're applying for jobs, that can be a deterrent when employers are looking to hire them. So we passed that in 2018. And those are a few things that we've done on city council just to be able to help our community and hopefully give some folks that didn't have advantages some advantages or were kind of singled out. We want to be able to help them. One of the things that we're looking at now is the Smallwood Act. It's been on the table for a couple years in regards to giving it some teeth so that we can actually help our disadvantaged businesses, our smaller businesses.
Is that ordinance 136?
136. Article 136.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So we did in this recent budget, we did put aside $50,000 so that administration can hire some legal counsel in regards to help us so that we can actually enforce that and give folks that may not be at the table the opportunity to at least be at the table and be a part of the economic development in our city. It
certainly sounds like some very important pieces of legislation. I think that council has done a tremendous job so far in getting some of these bills passed into law, so kudos to you all. If someone wanted to ask you more questions about what you have passed or how to reach you, what is the best way to reach you?
The best way is email.
Okay.
You can reach me at Sandie4York, that's SandieForYork.com. That's my website. And then Gmail is the ending part. So Sandie4York@gmail.com, or go to the website Sandie4York.com.
Fantastic. And Angry Bull Productions makes it magically appear across the screen. But thank you so much for your time. I wish we had more time to spend with you. However, if you all would like to reach Councilwoman Walker and know more about her platform, again, reach out to her through email, which she said is the best way to reach her. And remember to vote on May 21st. Thank you, Councilwoman Walker.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Edquina Washington, a Democrat, was appointed to York City Council on January 24th, 2018 to fill a vacancy to serve until the first Monday of January 2020. Councilwoman Washington is the chair of the Police and Fire Committees of Council and is a member of the Business Administration Committee. During her career as Director of Community Relations for the City of York, Ms. Washington is an advocate for municipal pension reform, gun control reform, public education policies, and immigration reform, just to name a few. Councilwoman Washington is seeking a 4-year term to York City Council. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Lady T.
Quite the illustrious career.
Yes.
You, born and raised in York, correct?
Yes, I am.
educated through York City School District?
I'm a proud Yorkite.
All right, all right. And then from there, you went on to receive your Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice
Yes.
at York College?
Yes.
Okay, tell us a little bit more about your educational and career background.
Okay, well, like you mentioned, I do have my undergraduate degree from York College of Pennsylvania in criminal justice with a concentration in corrections. And then I do have my graduate degree. I have a master's degree in human services from Capella University.
Awesome, awesome. Over your career, you are currently community development with the Crispus Addicts?
Yes, I am.
Congratulations!
Yes, I am. Thank you.
I was
Thank
very
you.
happy for you to see that you actually vied for that position and you received it. Good for you. During your career, you also served as legislative assistant for the 95th district.
Yes, I did.
Yes, under state representative, then was state rep,
Yes.
and now Auditor General Eugene D. Pasquale. And he just recently endorsed you.
Yes.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
congratulations. Would it be fair to assume that your legislative background began when you served in the capacity of legislative assistant some years ago?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Okay, how so?
Working in his office, I developed a love for our community. I developed a love for constituent service and also developed a love for creating initiatives and programs that would affect our community. So working there, I really fell in love with listening to our community, hearing what they have to say, and then developing things around them, but always understanding to be those eyes and ears for our community when you have someone in a position that can assist and serve and can do things on a higher level. But that is truly where I found my love.
Great, fantastic. Now, as I stated earlier, you were sworn in as Councilwoman on January 24th, 2018, and by July 17th of that same year, you unveiled, in my opinion, an important and transformative bill that would later be voted in as legislation, and that is safe time leave policy.
Yes.
Tell us what safe time leave policy is all about.
I would love to.
Sure.
Our safe time leave policy in the City of York provides protection for our employees in the City of York that are suffering from or dealing with domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, or issues of a similar concern. And what it does, it's similar to the sick leave policy, but what it does, it provides them with an addition to that sick leave policy that if they are in that situation, they have the opportunity to say to their supervisor that I need to take safe time. And it provides them with the opportunity to keep their jobs. That even if they don't have the time to take off, they do have the time to take off for safe time so they can take care of their matters. I'm a survivor of domestic violence, so I understand firsthand if you're in a situation and you need to get out right away, you may not have the time, a vacation time or sick time to get away. You may have to say, you may only have a few days to get out of there and get you and your family safe. So this gives them the time to do that.
Right, and so you just actually went right into my question, and so that directly played a role. Your experience as a domestic violence survivor played an important role into you introducing this bill to council.
Yes.
And if I'm correct, it's nowhere in York at all implemented with other employees, correctly? Is that correct?
It's
assumption?
central. We are the only city in central Pennsylvania to hold this legislation.
Okay, all right. And if I'm at the ballot and, there's so many choices to make, what makes you stand out amongst other candidates? Why should someone vote for you?
I believe someone should vote for me because I'm purpose driven, I'm focused, I love my community, I'm born and raised here, I don't mind listening to our community, and I don't mind speaking up and saying the right things and pushing forth, I would say, sometimes controversial legislation or pushing forth things that I know are truly going to advance and help our community. I believe someone that is open to listen, even if I can agree to disagree with you, but I understand that we're here to serve our entire community, not just the people that we like. We're here to serve everyone in our community here in the City of York. And I know that I'm someone that does that doesn't mind doing that, and believes that's what I'm here to do.
I like that. Serve the entire community, not just the people that you like. That's a good sound bite for you right there. I love that. If anyone wanted to reach out to you and ask you any questions about your platform or what's coming down the pike, well, before we do that, what are some of the other initiatives that you got coming down the pike, more of what we can see from you?
Well, I definitely continue to do work in our community with individuals that are being recently released from incarceration, providing them with the ability to either if they need to get their driver's license restored, if they are looking for employment. So I love collaborating with other organizations in our community to do that. And also focusing on, I know right now I'm doing a bit of a little fundraiser right now, focused on Purses to Empower. I'm asking individuals to donate purses, fill them with toiletries. You can drop them at Green Bean Roasting Company here in the city of York, and to provide it for women transitioning into recovery. So we want to provide and be a blessing to others, especially our women in the community when we know what a hard, maybe we don't know, but we just know from family or friends what a hard time it is, to give them something that they can have, that they can see as their own, to be proud of.
And did I hear correctly that you're working with the health department, or there's an HIV testing initiative going on?
On March 11th, I'll be working with our Bureau of Health in the city of York. That is National Women and Girls HIV and AIDS Day, focused on encouraging our women and girls to get tested so that they can know their status. And I'm encouraging us as women to bring a friend along. It'll be free testing all throughout the day that day. They'll have gift cards and surprises for individuals that come. It's free. It doesn't hurt you or harm you. It's better that you know so that you can get the services and the help that you need.
I agree, and you heard that. And again, that date is March
11th.
March 11th. Make sure that you go check that out. I think that HIV testing isn't talked about enough. It's still an epidemic that is affecting African American women and African Americans as a whole. So stop by and get tested, and you said some prizes and good things are going on there too. So thank you so much. And again, if someone wanted to reach out to you, do you have an email that you use, or what's the best way to reach you?
If you want to reach me, you can contact me on email at ewforyork@gmail.com, or I'm on just about every social media outlet. You can reach me there.
There you have it. Thank you so much, Councilwoman Washington, for stopping by today, and we look forward to hearing more from you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It was an honor.
My pleasure. I am pleased to welcome Sandra Thompson, attorney at law.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you. Ms. Thompson had recently announced her candidacy for judge for Court of Common Pleas, York County. Ms. Thompson is the owner and operator of her own law practice, Sandra Thompson, LLC. She is the president of the NAACP chapter and is also vice chair of the Democratic Party of York County, PA. Ms. Thompson received her undergraduate degree from York College of Pennsylvania, earning her Bachelor of Science in Human Resource Management, and went on to earn her Juris Doctorate from Widener University Law School of Law in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. She is admitted to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court and practices in state and federal courts. Ms. Thompson is also a member of the Sisters in the Fairway, a group of predominantly African American professional women in York County, Pennsylvania, who played golf and were allegedly discriminated against by the owners of Grandview Golf Club in York, that got national attention and support by well-known artists such as John Legend, activist Sean King, talk show hosts and journalists Soledad O'Brien, and Trevor Noah. What a tremendous honor to have you with us today. You have a lot going on. You have a tremendous background. I am very pleased to have you as our special guest today. Welcome to Black Perspectives.
Thank you. Again, I'm honored to be here.
I was preparing for this segment. I was reading your background, and I was quite impressed with your accomplishments. I didn't even do it justice, but just reading over your background, first of all, how long have you been practicing law?
I've been practicing law for about 20 years, but I've been in the legal justice system since '93, so about 26 years, because I started out as an adult probation officer for women.
Wow, she barely looks over 20. I'm just like amazed. So just looking back over your career, what would you say are your biggest accomplishments or accomplishments that you feel that you're most proud of?
Well, I'm always proud. Well, first of all, I have to say my children and grandchildren.
Yes,
first and
mention
foremost,
that. Yeah.
proud of them. But I'm always proud when I'm actually helpful. So in the law, there is ups and downs when you're dealing with the community and legal justice system. But when I can really make an impact in the community, such as helping or joining with advocates who stopped to take over the City of York school districts, you know, joining people who advocate for maintaining voter rights or parental rights. So giving a voice to the people, that's what I'm most proud of.
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. So what are the type of cases that a judge presiding over the York County Common Pleas would preside over? And that's what you are running for. And this is your third
That's
crack
correct.
at it? Okay,
That's
all right,
correct.
all right.
I ran first time in 2009, second time in 2017, and then this time I'm asking all of you to vote May 21st.
Yes.
For a start for the primary. But the Court of Common Pleas is a court of general jurisdiction. So I am a candidate who has a well-rounded background, life, and legal experience. And my legal experience touches upon almost everything that's going to come before the court. So you have family, you have criminal, you have orphans court, and civil as well. So the Court of Common Pleas basically hears our everyday situations. Neighbors who own property having a dispute between neighbors. Renters having a dispute with their landlord, or vice versa, landlord with the tenants. There's, again, adoptions. There's people who, if they have an issue with churches, that's nonprofit, that goes to orphans court. So civil, somebody has a slip and fall, car accident, criminal. I was a public defender as well as a district attorney, assistant district attorney, and I've been doing the realm of law since I've opened up my own practice in 2003. So I've defended and prosecuted everything from traffic violations to homicides.
Wow.
So that's a touch of what will go before the Court of Common Pleas.
Right. It's all over the place. And like I said, just reading over your background, I see that you even practice all type family law.
Yes, and that is one I think I did not mention is family law. So that's everything as well, you know, from custody, support, child support, protection from abuse, where Ms. Washington was talking about domestic violence. So PFA orders and the many things that come from that, indirect criminal contempts if a person violates that. And really how that plays into other avenues, because that is quasi-civil, the PFAs, but then that affects custody. If you have a PFA, and if you continue to violate, then that can turn to criminal, also depending on how you're violating. Are you stalking? Have you committed an assault? So a lot of these areas of the law touch upon each other.
Wow. And so it does, it just kind of one just affects the other. And you will preside over possibly all of those types of cases, is that correct?
Yes.
As the Court of Common Pleas judge.
Absolutely. Typically, new judges start in family, but if they have criminal, they can start in criminal, and I do. I have family as well as criminal law experience. So the other thing that is, I think, very important is how these areas of the law touch upon each other, but how it affects the family. Starting out as a probation officer in '93, and for women, I saw how when women get involved in criminality or addiction and how that affects the family. And then while in law school, I was a case manager for juveniles, delinquent and dependent youth, and then seeing again how either through their own behavior or through lack of guardianship supervision, they can wind up in the system, and it's a continuous cycle, you know. So, and also is to see how the men are affected and how the cycle continues unless there's an intervening event to break it. And so, because I have seen all of this from so many different perspectives, I think as a judge, I can come in with some knowledge to try to break that cycle, and that's my goal.
And so, because of your extensive civil rights background, again, you are the president of the NAACP chapter. You've fought civil rights cases in the court. What are some of the things that people may assume incorrectly because of your civil rights background with regards to how you would preside over certain cases?
Well, I think because I am president of the York NAACP, I'm involved with the state as well. Because of the issue, even with Grandview, sometimes people think that I am or have tunnel vision to strictly African Americans. But as an attorney, I represent everybody. As an advocate, I represent everybody. As a probation officer, as an attorney, as a judge, you don't and should not look at the race or any other extenuating circumstance that is not pertinent to the facts to deciding that case, in which your political affiliation is not relevant. Your race should not be relevant unless there's an issue of racial profiling or something like that, and then you should be able to, as a judge, to hear those facts and understand those facts. And so my background in civil rights will allow me to do that, but still weigh what is and what is not, because not everything is racial.
And there you have it, yet another powerful African American woman seeking your vote during the primaries in York County, May 21st. Mark your calendar. Vote Sandra Thompson, Court of Common Pleas.
Judge, thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much for being with me today.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. I am super excited to have as my guest today Miss Sandra Harrison.
Thank you.
Who is running for York County Prothonotary Office. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, I was so excited to hear that you were running. Ms. Harrison is native to York and lived in the DC and Maryland area for a number of years before moving back to York. Ms. Harrison is also a member of the Sisters in the Fairway, a group of predominantly African American professional women in York County who play golf and were allegedly discriminated against by the owners of Grandview Golf Club in York. Sandra, again, thank you for being the guest on Black Perspectives with Lady T. I'm really glad that you took time out of your so busy schedule. I know you were so many places even today at events and, putting out the word and your qualifications. So again, thank you for stopping by here today. Sandra, let's get right to it. What is a prothonotary?
Prothonotary is a clerk of civil judicial processes. They handle things like child custody, license renewals that you file an appeal. It can be also things, they do naturalization ceremonies.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So anything that has civil ramifications. And basically, it's not a political position. The job duties are mandated by a code. They're fixed. They're mandated by statute. So it's a pretty easy job because you have to follow the guidelines and you make sure the documentation is right for all of the court proceedings.
And you were no stranger to court processes. In fact, you had, over your career, you've had to go to court for as part of your job. Would you tell us, the audience, a little bit about your educational and employment background? How does it relate to the job of pathonetary?
I have over 37 years in management. I was responsible for properties and their physical assets for many years. That also included working in landlord and tenant. So in every jurisdiction, I had to file legal processes, papers, cases. In New York, on a monthly basis, I filed anywhere from 130 to 165 cases each and every month. And mainly they were landlord tenants.
130 to 165 cases.
Yes.
So you have to be highly organized in order to get that type of product output on a monthly basis.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just wanted to. So I wanted to make sure I heard that right.
And that is correct.
Okay. So continue. I'm sorry.
The magistrates that I've worked with in New York, also not outside of New York, but mostly in New York, they were able to develop a certain level of respect when they knew myself or my staff were coming, because of the dignity that we served the defendants and the clients. And that's one of the things that I would like to do if I am blessed with this position. I would like to take the fear out of the court process for the defendant by developing a defendant portal. That would also assist the judges and the magistrates and the clerks, because when you're filed on or when you have an issue with the court, you'll know how to handle that paper, because you can go to the portal and it'll give you guidance. It'll give you step by step what to do next. I don't know if you've ever been served, but that's a pretty daunting and scary process.
And I won't admit if I've ever been served or not. But
So I think that it's important, and the county seat is a row seat, and I think that it would allow us the opportunity to come to the table and perhaps be able to offer other insight to other row officers.
why do you believe that you'll be a good fit as pathonetary?
My experience dealing with the many people around the process, the court judicial process. And Maddie Chatman was pathonetary, and whenever you talk about her legacy, the people always talk about how graceful and how human she was in the court process. It made it very accommodating for all those involved. So I think she has set a good example, and I know that I can emulate it based on the experience that I have.
Well, you just led right into my next question. Actually, you were able to attend a ceremony at the York County Courthouse that commemorated her legacy. Maddie Chatman, who is the first African American elected the pathonetary's office, correct? And
Yes.
she served in, tell me, do you remember the years? Was it 70s or
75, and I think she stopped in 82.
Right. Have there been any other African Americans to serve in that position subsequent to her role in that particular position?
I'm not aware of any after her.
Right. Okay. So what does it mean for you as an African American woman, and do you feel as though you have big shoes to fill? Do you feel as though you have to match her legacy, or what does it really mean for you to run for this particular office?
I would be honored to be able to provide York County with just the sense of decency, integrity, and value that's necessary in the court process. And I know that I can do that. Having worked in businesses and worked for investors and owners where they do require and expect a very specific acumen and that you are fiduciary responsible for their money and for their assets. So integrity is not a problem. Caring for people is not an issue. And so I want to just have bring those values to the position.
So integrity, caring, experience, there's a lot of the reasons, at least some of the reasons why someone should vote for you on May 21st.
Yes.
How can someone reach you and find out more of your background, or maybe perhaps they may have a question for you? What is the best way to reach you?
Well, I do have a page on Facebook, and also my email is long. It's info at harrisonforpathonetary.com.
Okay.
So it's very long.
And Facebook, they can find you under Harrison for Pathonetary or Sandra Harrison?
Sandra Harrison for Pathonetary, correct.
Okay, and that's Harrison. Okay, and we won't go into how to spell Pathonetary because that tripped me up the whole way through. So, again, congratulations, and I wish you the best. And yet another strong African American woman seeking your vote on May 21st. Make sure you go out to vote. Rock the vote. Thank you for coming and spending time with me today.
Thank you very much for having me.